Thanks for watching TechWiki. Click the subscribe button, then enable notifications with the bell icon so you won't miss any future videos.
So do you feel like whenever you type personal information into a web page, it probably ends up in the hands of an executive with dollar signs in his eyes holding court at a mad tea party of advertisers and people with agendas? Well, sadly, that's less of a paranoid delusion than I'd like, and it's exactly the kind of thing that the European Union's new General Data Protection Regulation is trying to stop. And because it was implemented so recently, plenty of large tech firms have been scrambling to make sure they don't get caught on the wrong side of the law. But what exactly does the law do? So the basic idea is that any organization or business that either operates in the EU or handles data relating to people in the EU has a few responsibilities. Meaning that even a business here in Canada, like Linus Media Group, could find itself in hot water with the European authorities if I did something like, let's say, sell your email address to a company that makes explosive discount power supplies. But I wouldn't do anything like that to you guys. Wait a minute. But that doesn't mean your data can't be sold. One of the biggest linchpins of the GDPR is consent. If you're in the EU, you have a right to be informed about what type of data is being collected and why it's being collected before you hit OK. And this pertains to lots of different types of data. A single photo, a comment you made on a public social media post, and even your name are covered. GDPR requires companies to specifically lay out each piece of data they're collecting from you for your consent to be valid. After you've given your consent and the Zuck or whoever else gets their mitts on your sweet, sweet personal information, there are some more rules concerning how they have to store it. Specifically, it has to be protected in some way, whether it's through encryption or by keeping the data separate from other data that could be used together to identify an individual person. So for example, a national ID number should be sequestered from other information that could enable an attacker to work out who it belongs to. And if an attacker does breach a database, or if someone was just careless with a USB stick, the organization has to inform a data protection authority within 3 days of when it found out. And they'd also be on the hook to notify you, yes, you Otto Schmidt from Berlin, in the case of a really serious breach. But if a mere notification isn't enough for you, and you just want the data off their servers, the GDPR also obligates companies to give you access to it on demand, or to delete your data upon request, partly stemming the tide of the internet is forever with a right to be forgotten. Though bear in mind that if one of your terrible hot takes gets retweeted 1,000,000 times, there's nothing you can do to force private internet users to delete their screen caps. But back to businesses. Why would they comply with this? Well, as it turns out, there are serious consequences for businesses that don't handle your data with respect. For willful violations or for repeat offenders, the fines can be as high as 4% of annual turnover. And that may not sound like much, but for large enterprises like Google, that could amount to billions, yes, billions of dollars. So this sounds pretty good if you're an EU resident, but what if you live in the US, Japan, or Guinea-Bissau? Well, some tech firms like Facebook and Microsoft are implementing GDPR-compliant features worldwide, giving users outside the EU the same level of access and control. But don't imagine this is out of the goodness of their hearts. In reality, it probably has more to do with it being more streamlined and having different policies for different locations. And it's also not a great look from a public relations perspective to give users in certain places less robust data protection just because they can. So that's a great step towards a more global internet because I, for one, have had just about enough of geo-blocking anyway. Are you interested in computer science? Well then check out Brilliant, a problem-solving website that teaches you to think like a computer scientist. Instead of just passively listening to lectures, you get to master concepts by solving fun and challenging problems, and Brilliant provides the tools and framework you need to tackle those challenges. Brilliant's thought-provoking content based around breaking up complexities into bite-sized understandable chunks will lead you from curiosity to mastery. And you'll be in the company of over 5.5 million members who share your curiosity and love for math and science. So what are you waiting for? You can support TechWiki and learn more about Brilliant by clicking the link in the video description or by going to brilliant.org/LinusTechTips and signing up for free. The first 200 people to go to the link will get 20% off an annual premium subscription, so be sure to check it out. Okay guys, thanks for watching TechWiki. Like, dislike, get subscribed, check out our other channels, and leave a comment below with suggestions for future videos.